Because we're at the end of a trimester, we thought we'd send out a video reminding you of the steps for the data conversation so that you can do that with all of your final assessments.
Okay. So today we're going to be doing our data conversation with the ACT assessment results so that we can kind of look at...
Actually, we're gonna change it. We're gonna do the data conversation using Iowa's game against Minnesota and making Renee do all of the data analysis using sports, which will be wildly entertaining. Okay, the first step, as you know, is to predict, and in predict we're making short predictions about the data before seeing the results. The game has already happened, but trust me, Renee does not know the results. Okay, so we're going to start with two basics. So who do you think was more successful running the ball, Iowa or Minnesota?
I think that Iowa was more successful running the ball.
Running the ball or rushing? Yeah,
Rushing.
It's the same thing. It's fine. Okay.
And passing, I think, well, I'll just say Minnesota.
Okay. All right. Those are her predictions without any bias or knowledge, really. All right.
So we've created a visual. So we have yards going up the side, and we have rushing and passing, and then so
We have Iowa's numbers in black and Minnesota's in red.
yes, okay.
Okay, now we are in the observe stage, and here we just want to state facts, and we want to be able to state complete facts that would make sense if we look back on them a year later. So there is no use of because here, so when you say a fact, don't try and analyze and explain why something happened. Try and pace yourself from adding that dialogue to it. All we're doing here is stating facts so that we can then jump to those inferences later on. Okay?
No problem. Okay, so the first thing I see is that Iowa had more rushing yards.
139.
139 yards. And passing, Minnesota had more passing yards by about 70-ish yards.
Okay, total yards then? That's okay. So then Iowa has roughly 70 and 72 more yards than Minnesota. Generated 72 more yards than Minnesota.
Okay.
Now the next stage in the data conversation is the infer and question stage, and in this stage you take a look at those results that you have and the observations that you made and try and either make an inference on them or develop questions that might be answered later on. So I could look at these results here and say, I wonder why Minnesota was able to pass the ball more effectively than Iowa did.
Well, my inference would be that they were running a jet sweep and then freezing the linebackers and safeties.
That's really good analysis. Yeah, and so we looked too at the rushing difference there, and I was able to be more effective. And I would ask, I just don't know why I was able to rush more effectively in Minnesota.
Well, that's because they were able to run the ball because LaShawn Daniels was finally healthy.
Again, really good analysis. Okay, good. Okay, now we are at the action plan step, and so at this step we are trying to forecast what we're going to do based on those results. And for this, Renee, I asked, what should Iowa continue to do, or what should they focus on for next week's game against Purdue?
Well, I believe that the defensive coordinator to work with the people on better coverage and blitzing the quarterback
Okay.
more often.
All right. Any other things that you would put into the action plan?
Well, Cole Fisher just needs to know his responsibilities.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we have an action plan, and then we would implement that for the next week. For yours, it would be taking a look at those test results and then trying to modify either instruction or how much planning time is spent on specific objectives, or maybe how things might change in terms of what you put in the test or whatever conclusions that you draw from them. Each of these stages we haven't mentioned, but have a recommended time limit to them, and the idea is to keep that moving so that you don't spend too much time doing one step and be stuck in the observation, that you move to an action.
And we've also, while we were doing this, we were using the data analysis sheet that kind of goes through what, why, the length examples. And then on the reverse side, there's a place for you to write your thoughts and or script for the video. So.
All right, thank you and good luck. Predict.
Predict.
Okay. Edit. How do you think Purdue's gonna be?
For what?
So,
Because what's his name?
LaShawn Daniels was the was.
We have too many passing.
Yeah. So how do you shut the pass down?
How do you shut the pass down? We block it. Am I supposed to do that without lad?
That'd be great. This is the funniest part.
Okay.
You'll say, well, the inference there would be because they were running the jet sweep.
The inference. I did it in one take!